Welcome back to Facebook Live. We have another week talking here from MSWC. This week we're going to talk about dehydration. You may have noticed that we posted on our blog this week, and we posted a dehydration article that talks not only about the risks but also the signs of dehydration, both for minor and when to seek medical help. The important thing to realize is that dehydration isn't just about being thirsty. Believe it or not, when you're 1% dehydrated, meaning that your body has lost 1% amount of the water that it needs, your performance is going to drastically decrease and your body is going to start making changes. What that means is that your body is going to take and prioritize all of its systems. It's going to put blood flow and water into things like your heart, your lungs, and your blood volume before it puts it into anything else. So when you're 1% dehydrated, you already start pulling water out of your less important areas, such as your muscles and your tissues, to compensate and make sure that you have adequate blood volume for your heart and your lungs and your essential organs. Believe it or not, you don't actually feel dehydrated until you're 3% dehydrated. So that means that you see performance changes and compensations before you even realize that you're dehydrated. Now I want to use a really important example that I use with patients. And a lot of patients maybe have reoccurring muscle injuries. Maybe they have some minor muscle tears or some tendinitises or tendinopathies, or what we call them, where tendons kind of become inflamed. And I want to use a rubber band as an example. So this is just a simple office rubber band, and I'm sure you can't see it from the screen, but it's a nice hydrated, relatively new rubber band. This nice hydrated rubber band, we can sit here and tug and pull it at length over and over and over and over and over, and it never changes. It goes back to its normal length and its normal tension. That's how the tissues in your body act when they're hydrated. When we ask our muscles to contract and relax, or we ask them to put up with loads, such as with running or jumping or twisting or bending or reaching, our body is able to just repeat and repeat and repeat when it's nice and hydrated. Now, if this rubber band became really dehydrated, let's say it was old, it was 10 years old and it had been sitting in my desk for a while, you'd already see some cracking and some different stuff in it. But what do you think would happen if I took that rubber band and I tugged and I tugged and I tugged and I tugged, and it was already dehydrated? That rubber band eventually would snap. It would break. You would see more cracks in it. You would see more wear and tear than what you see with my nice, quote unquote, healthy rubber band. That is exactly what happens with our tissues. So at that 1% dehydration, when our body starts pulling that water out of our muscle tissues and out of our tendons, we already start to see that that tissue cannot put up with the same amount of loads as a nice, healthy, hydrated rubber band. So I want to use that analogy, keep that kind of in the back of your brain, and make sure that you kind of think about, okay, if I'm having a lot of minor muscle tears and a lot of tendon issues, maybe one of the issues could be underlying dehydration, and if you're not good about drinking water, you need to make sure that you drink that. Now let's talk a little bit about what to drink to stay hydrated. I get this question a lot. Quite honestly, the best answer is water, plain water. If you are outside and you're in the sun a lot, or you're losing a lot of electrolytes through sweat, you may want to add some electrolytes in, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But what I want you to realize is that drinks with caffeine, such as tea or coffee, will actually dehydrate you in terms of how they react with your body. Drinks with a lot of preservatives, sugars, especially artificial sweeteners, they're going to make your tissues a little bit more sticky, and you still have to deal with that sugar load and that breakdown of the other things that are added. So plain water is really one of your best bets. In terms of electrolytes, things like Gatorade or sports drinks, yes, they do provide that added electrolyte kind of push back into your body, but unfortunately they're also loaded with sugars and a lot of other things. So I recommend, if you're gonna do sports drinks, cut them in half with water so that you get the electrolytes but you get half of the sugar load. Better yet, it's really easy. Just take some Himalayan salt. Pink Himalayan salt works great. Put a pinch or two into your glass of water and drink that. You don't notice a taste change. You get some really good minerals, trace minerals, and some electrolytes back into your body, and that's a great way that you can kind of replace electrolytes. For some basic recommendations on what to drink and how much to drink with summer activities, be sure to check out our blog. We've got more information on there as well. I hope this helped you, and as a reminder, be sure to send us some questions or some things that you're interested about, because we do save 1 week a month where we just answer questions. So be sure to shoot us an email, contact us through our webpage, or contact us through any of our social media outlets, and we'll be sure to answer your questions. Thanks for checking us out. We hope to see you next week.